Hello, and welcome to training for department users of the CalOpps system. As a department user, you are tasked with reviewing applications, and depending on the authority you've been given, authorization, you either view, comment, group, or rate that application. And we're going to walk through those steps for you today. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to log in. So you're going to click on the login. And what you need to have is your email address that was used to set you up with your agency and the password. So when your agency creates you as a user in the system, they use your agency email address as your login. And when they do that, you will get an email that includes a link that asks you to reset and actually create a password the first time. So you are responsible for creating your password. The system, your HR doesn't do it for you. You as a user of the system create your own passwords. But if you forgot your password, you would just click on the Request New Password tab, enter your agency-provided email address, and click Email New Password. And when you do that, you'll get an email. And what you'll do is you'll click on the link and follow the instructions in the email to reset your password. So it's very simple. If you forget your password, all you have to do is request new password. But you as a user, I just want to make sure everybody knows that the Create New Account is only for the public. This is not for agency and logins. Your agency, typically your HR department, and that's who I'm going to call as your agency administrator, is HR typically, they create you in the system. You would never use Create New Account. This, as I mentioned, was for the public. This is how the public creates a profile that are then notified of any openings and use that profile to apply for any opening positions within your agency. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that as department or users, you never create an account. So let's go ahead and get started. As I said, you're going to log in with your agency email. And when you log in, you're going to land on a dashboard, and it's just going to show you just the recruitments that you have authorization to. So it tells you your name and your email account. There's also an edit button here for you. The edit button will allow you to go in and if you needed to update your name, but you can never change your email address. This is managed by your agency CalOpps administrator. But you can come in here and change your password if you need to. You'll need to know your current password, but it's a good opportunity to show you that the password requirements for the system must contain at least one digit, must be 8 characters in length, contain at least one punctuation character, and contain at least one uppercase character. Go ahead and go back to your dashboard. So quickly on the right-hand side, you have the ability to control what sections of the application is printed if you choose to actually print an applicant's application. So here's where if you don't want to read a certain section, let's just say you don't want the attachments or something, you would just uncheck that box and hit save. But you may not, you have here the name, but if your agency for some reason has blocked you from seeing the name of applicants, even if you have this checked, you're still not going to be able to actually, when you hit print, have that printed out. So I wanted to point that out. So here's my dashboard. It shows me the name of the recruitments that I have access to. I have close date. This is the date where this recruitment is no longer accepting applications from the public. We have the applicants. This tells you the current number of applications submitted to date, and then you have status. And you can see multiple things in the status column. If you see a status of incomplete, that means HR is still working on the recruitment. They haven't completed it and officially made it available. If you see the status of scheduled, what that means is they have actually completed everything in HR, but the open date is in the future. If you see the status of closed, that means the recruitment is no longer accepting applications. If you see a status of canceled, it means it's been canceled, and completed means the HR department has completed all the work that they plan on doing with that recruitment, and it's no longer actively being worked on. So let's go ahead and click on this building inspector recruitment that I need to start reviewing the applicants and rating them, because that's typically what I want to do. I have on my applicant tab, I have some information that tells me how many applicants in this recruitment, how many have been eliminated. I can change some views here. Quickly, I just want to show you, when you click on the View tab, what this shows you is what this recruitment looks like to the public, whether it may still be actively, if it's open, accepting application, but it's good for you to see what those applicants saw when they saw the recruitment on the site. Let's go ahead and click back on applicants. So here is my default view. I have an applicant ID. I can see the applicant name, the date they applied. I can see any group that's been applied to them. If there's comments, I can see how many. If my agency has designated a yes or no, whether this applicant met the minimum requirements for this position, I can see that here. And then under actions, I can do multiple things. I can comment about this applicant, I can group, I can rate, or I can print for this applicant. So those are the things I can do under single actions, but I also have a bulk action, which means I can select multiple applicants, and I can say I want to apply the same grouping to these two applicants. So I'd come here, choose what that group was, and now you can see both of these are rated 6. So that was pretty nice. I can also bulk rate, but whatever I do under the bulk and whatever I choose, it's applied to that same number. I'm going to give both of these same applicants a rating of 8. As you notice up here, as I make changes, the system is telling me that I have made some updates. So I can just remove those messages by hitting the X. And I just did a bulk rating of rate, but on this view, I don't see my view by ratings. I need to click on the view by rating button. And now in my view by rating button, and this is me, John Smith, I can see those ratings that I have been done. And I can also see any other rating that had been completed by somebody else, in this case HR or another department user. So I'm going to go ahead and click back on applicants. So let's go ahead and get in there and start reviewing applicants. So I'm just going to click on a name. So this is the default application view. So on the left-hand side, as I scroll down the page with my mouse, I can review the actual application that's been submitted, check things out, see how they link, okay, additional experience. If there's a supplemental questionnaire, I'm going to find it at the bottom, and I can see how they answered the questions. Another thing I can do is, as I'm scrolling through this, I can also collapse each of these sections, and I can do that just by clicking on the title of each section and with my mouse, just click once, and it will collapse each of those sections. And if I need to open them back up, I just open them back up. It's just a little toggle, and that just helps you as you scroll through and see the information. So now that I'm done reviewing the application on the left-hand side, what I would do on the right is take an action. So I might change the rating or give them a rating, because in the case of ratings, I can have multiple ratings per application, but I can only have one grouping per application. So I can rate, I could have another department user rating, I can have HR rating, but when a grouping number is changed, that's the only one you're ever going to see. So if I hit save, I've now grouped this person as a 4. If somebody comes through and reviews this application after me and they change this rating, the grouping, that's what's going to be reflected in that applicant view that we were just looking at. So I'll make sure everybody understands that. You'll also notice that the minimum requirements, as I mentioned, this is only an HR function. I can't change or do anything here. And this is where I would add a comment. So I'd click on Add a Comment, and then just hit Save. And so here you can see the comment, and because I made the comment, I can also edit. So I can go back to the applicant view, and if I look at another application, I go through pretty much the same process. I can review it, their work history, look at the questions, and then I just come over to the rating side. And the important thing is make sure I hit save, because that's how that rating is going to be updated on this applications record. So that's really important, is to make sure you hit the save button when you're done taking any action. And I'm just going to click on this person so you can see that. Let's go to this previous one. This is what it looks like when other people have commented. I can see their comments, but again, I can only edit my own. So from a department user's perspective, we've walked through how you can go through and review each application. You can rate, you can group, and you can comment, the things that department users do. And if you want to view by ratings to see what others, you'd click on the view by ratings. And you do have the ability, if you want to, just to click on, you can see just how they answered the questionnaires, and that can be downloaded into a spreadsheet. Right now what I want to do is I want to log out, and I want to log back in. And this time I'm going to log in with a different email, but I am still acting as a department user. And that's what happens when you don't put in the right password. Okay, so now I've logged in with a different user, and now Tim Smith, and you notice I only have one recruitment. And the reason I wanted to do this is I wanted you to see what happens when the authorization that has been set up by HR is limited. So here's in a case where HR has said, I don't want the department user to actually see an applicant name. So you can see the name in this case is going to match the applicant ID. And when I click on the personal information, I still don't see that name. The other thing here I wanted to show you is if I've also not been given the ability to rate, I'm going to have that same red bar, just like under here in the Met Minimum Requirements circle. I'm not going to be able to rate a group because this person was not given that ability. But this person was given the ability to add a comment. So that's what I just wanted to show you is depending on how you were set up and what authority you were given, you will see and be able to interact with the system differently. So that's it. We appreciate you taking the time, and thanks.